Hey guys, welcome back, and I am at the Sony Experience Center, and thank you to Sony for inviting me to check out a few of their latest products. Right now I'm going to check out the Sony WF-C500. These I think were launched about maybe 2 or 3 months ago, so I am late to this party, but they seem like a very interesting set at an interesting price point. So we've got a lot of interesting things going on in this price bracket. So these have an MRP of about 8,990, but these are being sold for about 5,990 right now. So it's interesting where they sit, because this is right between Nothing Ear One's OnePlus Buds Z2, which a lot of people are interested in. So it'll be interesting to see if Sony's earphones can keep up to that range. So anyway, the unboxing is pretty straightforward. It comes in a little Sony box. This is all recycled materials. It's got a nice look to it. I like that Sony is focusing on things like this. So of course you open the box. Now the actual unit is already been taken out because this is a demo piece that I'm reviewing. But in the box you get your extra ear tips that are mounted on a little leg. Yeah. So these look like the smalls and large, and the earphones themselves most likely come with the medium. Then of course you get your little USB-C cable to charge the case, and the rest is just the literature. So let's move on to what the case looks like. So it's got a sort of translucent case. So if you look inside, I think you'll see two LEDs glowing. That's because the earbuds that are inside are currently charging up. So you can see this through the case, which is quite neat. It's got a translucent case. Those are the two little LEDs you could see. It's a neat touch. Now the overall build of this case, I'd say it's most likely a bit better than the things in this price range. First of all, it's got a matte finish, so it's not going to show scratches. The base has also a matte finish. Very nice touch. It's not going to scratch over time. I don't think it's really going to scuff very easily. The earphones to me look like they are touch controls. I'm told these are not touch controls. These are actually just buttons. They're click-based buttons. So you do get your USB-C charging point at the back. I'm not too sure on the statistics of how fast it charges, how long it lasts. But for now, let's just jump in and see how easy it is to set these up and then how they sound. So it turns out you have to take the earphones out of the case and not just open the lid. So you actually have to put these in a pairing mode by pressing both of these together until a blue LED light flashes, and then connect it. So it's not as seamless as the high-end earphones that Sony makes. Anyway, it's connected now and it's on the Sony headphones app. So the pairing of these is a bit finicky. It's not as seamless as the previous earphones I just set up, but I've managed to get them paired, and they are set up much like the other headphones are on the Sony headphones app, which is quite neat because it looks like for them at least it's some sort of ecosystem. So I'll see how these are. Before I talk about how these are in the app and how they sound, let's just see how these are built, because I think for their price these look really nice. The overall fit and finish, it's not flamboyant like the XM4s that I just checked out. At this price I think they're pretty good. They've got silicone tips which are comfortable to wear. It's not stiff. Some manufacturers do have slightly stiffer silicone ear tips. This is pretty comfortable in the ear. There's a little Sony imprint here on the side of both earphones, which does look nice. It's a nice clean print. This is a little button. It clicks for inputs, but it's got a nice tactile feel. So anyway, when you go into the app, you've got your status, your sound, so you can see your battery levels. You go into the sound, you've got your equalizer from the Sony headphones app, which is standard for everything else. This also lets you analyze your ear like you do with the higher end XM4s. This is interesting. Sony has got their DSEE function for these earphones as well, despite being, well, a budget set of earphones. DSEE for Sony is the digital sound enhancement engine, which sort of is basically an upscaler for low quality audio files. So if you're playing an MP3 that's really not up to par, then it tends to upsample it, and it does a pretty good job of it. At least that's what I've experienced with the WH and WF XM4s. These should be reasonably comfortable. These I think do not have active noise cancelling. They are just passive isolation with the earplugs with the silicone tips in the ear. The seal seems reasonably good, and this is what they look like in the ear. I think they sit pretty flush. I can hear myself speak, so nothing from the outside really, so these definitely fit pretty well. Let's see how these are when it comes to their sound. Oh, that is really cool. Tapping it increases the volume, pressing and holding reduces the volume down on the left earbud. And I'm listening to Slave to Love by Brian Ferry. It's really clean. This is really clean sounding. I genuinely didn't think that these would sound good, because usually when a much larger manufacturer makes a budget set of earphones, they're not great, but these These might just give the other two earphones I mentioned earlier a run for their money when it comes to their sound, but I'd have to compare all three of them together for that. It's got voice assistant. If you press and hold this side, it's got your voice assistant. That's neat. So these aren't as volume sensitive as some other earphones. I think 50% volume is a bit low. You can very comfortably go up to 70, 80%, even 90% without it distorting. So I'd say comfortable listening level is about 60% volume. These sound really nice. Listening to Crash Into Me, Dave Matthews Band. Let's move on to something a little heavier. I want to listen to how these are when it comes to their bass extension, because the highs and mids have no real issues. I really like the way these are tuned. Mids are really crisp and clear. There's no real sibilance in these. There might be a slight recession in the lower mids because some male vocals don't sound as full as they should. Female vocals sound a lot fuller than male vocals for sure. I think it's just a dip in the lower mids that have made this sound like this with the male vocals. The bass kicks. I'm listening to Havana and the bass is unexpected. Let's just see what the driver size is. I don't know what the driver size is. I've not checked what these are. Sony C500. Can't be right. According to Sony, their driver size is 5.8 mm, and then they've tuned this really well. I think this is the smallest size driver I've ever heard in earphones of all the ones I've reviewed. This doesn't sound like it's a 5.8 mm driver. This sounds really good. It's beautifully tuned. I'd love to speak to the guys who've done it, who've actually engineered this. Yeah, so anyway, I think I could keep going on with these because these sound genuinely nice. I would love to compare these with the other sets of earphones I have, but again, I leave that entirely up to Sony. If they were to provide me a set, maybe I could. The way they sound is unexpected because I went into this thinking that Sony is not really putting in too much effort into their budget stuff, but considering these go for as much as they do and sound the way they do, I think they've done a really terrific job with these. I can't really complain about these because, yeah, to a certain extent, this seems like a budget set of earphones. You can tell when you look at a few things, like, you know, the way the shapes have been cut out, the slightest gaps between panels here and there. You can tell this is not a premium product. It is not their flagship stuff. But when you listen to them and you're not looking at them, they tell a very different story. These do sound quite pleasant for the price. I think these are a steal, but I do hope that this first impressions review of the C500 has helped you out in some way or the other. And I would like to thank everybody at Sony who invited me over to the Experience Center to try out some of their products. And if you do like my content, remember to like and subscribe. And thank you for tuning into Paul's POV for some sound advice.